right. Okay. So let me see here. C tier is average, so everything will default. Like everything is C tier by default, and then it gains or loses status. So B is
Like how
above
we like.
average, D is below average, A is excellent, basically amazing storytelling, and F is a complete failure. S tier basically means the standard by which everything is judged. This is like definitive Doctor Who. Um, I don't think I think we don't want to start by putting things in S tier. I think we want to rank everything, and then we'll see. Does any of this deserve to be called like the definitive standard?
Let
Uh,
me think. Let me think.
so let's start
Uh,
with An Unearthly Child. So this is difficult because I
I
love
don't
the
believe that's S tier.
I this is difficult because I've An Unearthly Child. If you could split it into the first episode and the second part, it would be much higher because like I guess we
Yeah,
don't really
you.
need to treat them as a single story, but the problem is the first episode is so detached from like every other part of Doctor Who. The first episode is an amazing episode that just makes very little sense in the context of Doctor Who. Um,
I've never really thought of Unearthly Child as really that much separate from the caveman story. Just it's all just like different parts. I mean, I
um,
guess they are, but
yeah, but like the events are very different. But again, like it's just the Unearthly Child makes so little sense in the context of the rest of Doctor Who. Uh,
does it?
well, I mean the first episode where you have her talking about like time and space as these other dimensions, and like they all like collapse unconscious at the end, and the Doctor is really insistent that they can't leave. Like there's just so much weird stuff that never gets followed up on. Um,
Yeah.
I
Here's something
it's
that's also here's something that's also weird. It's the doctor says if they let them go, they'd pretty much like have to leave anyway. So his solution was to leave with them. I mean, I know the major thing was that he didn't want Susan to leave, so that's why he was willing to kidnap those two. But yeah, there's very few things really make sense when you actually start to think of them.
so it should it be A tier or B tier is the question.
Let's see, it sets up the
Because
characters, and it has things like you said, them being knocked out at the end of the episode, and
I
it's
don't
more than
think
it's an establishing episode, so it should probably just be a little above average.
I the caveman. I don't think the cavemen bring it down. I love the caveman story. It's like political drama, but
Oh
in
yeah, if you're counting the if you're counting the caveman part two, it does great at like establishing the character relation at what the character relationships are going to be at the start.
um it's in the first episode is great. I love it. I love watching it. So I guess it stays A tier despite the fact that it
Sure.
makes very little sense. Um just because it, maybe it shouldn't be considered that, but it is a great story. If you
Yeah,
could
I very much enjoy that too.
um the
Oh, by
Daleks.
the way, well, by the way, I read that on I read that they did try to use a few clips of the pilot in the official episode, and you can kind of see at the ending shot when the TARDIS takes off, they have two different TARDIS props for different shots. Because like at the very end, you can see the little pull to open sign has a big white border that's not there in other shots, so they kind of played mix and match with some of them.
Um The Daleks, I think, is easier to rate. It should have been A tier, maybe even S tier, but the second half of it is really slow and boring because they're crawling through the city, like they're crawling through caves. The second
I
half of
don't
it,
get bored with slow. I don't get bored with slow storytelling
it's
very
not that
easily. I
it's
was
no, it's not that it's boring because it's slow. It's just a waste of time. Like they crawl through the caves.
and they don't really do much.
Yeah, and then
But
like
when you think about, but
I
when you
don't
think
even
about how
remember
good the
like what I remember is the Thals are going to get food from the Daleks. We need to go warn them. They go warn them. They come back, and then at that point, the Doctor reveals that he has dropped the TARDIS piece in the city, and they need to go back for it. And they convince the Thals to go back, and they crawl. And that part's great. But then they go
they
back
did
in the
not
city.
drop it. They did not drop it. It was taken from them, I
Oh yeah.
believe, when they
Well,
were searched.
and then they go back into the city, and stuff happens. I don't really remember. They smash some stuff.
They crawled through this. They crawled through the sewers, or not the sewers, the pipes, the water pipes, the cave. Yeah, they crawled through the cave because they needed to sneak into the city to get the piece, I believe. And that was Barbara and Ian and a couple of Thals. The Doctor, Susan, and the other Thals did their distractions with the mirrors to, I believe, pull the Daleks away and distract them. They were a distraction.
So as much as it
And
pains
then
me,
And then the Doctor and Susan got captured. Ian and Barbara broke in, and then Ian shoved a Dalek into a control panel, and that destroyed everything.
so as much as it pains me, the Daleks is just one episode too long, and there's too much padding, and the pacing falls off in the second half.
But think about how good the
I
beginning half
know that's
was.
why it hurts, but this pacing just falls off in the second half. If we find that other stuff that we're putting a lot of other stuff above average, and it's all worse than the Daleks, we'll bump it up. But like right now, the pacing falls off. It's definitely not as good as Unearthly Child.
All
Edge of
right.
Destruction. I really like Edge of Destruction, but it's been a while since I've
It
seen it.
was character development. It built up the relationships more, and they did so much with so few sets. It reminds me of what they did with the beginning seasons of Cheers when they only had a few sets to play with, but and that forced them to do better storytelling instead of relying on the special effects. I love the way they interact with each other, and I love the emotional development between the Doctor and Barbara and them trying to like what I like is that something that I've noticed throughout the episodes is the Doctor and Barbara are both like they tend to have outbursts of emotion, and then Ian has to play mitigator, where he tells Barbara to try to understand the Doctor, and then he tells the Doctor to try to understand Barbara and like go apologize because most of the time the fights were his
Now,
fault. So it's like Ian had to be the mature one most of the time.
now I don't know if it needed to be two episodes, but they're both good, so it's fine.
I like their two
The the
episodes.
the the sci-fi
They
mechanics
don't.
are really cheesy, but I like like old like this weird old sci-fi that barely makes sense, so it's fine. I
My favorite parts were the character interactions.
uh,
One of my favorite scenes from Edge of Destruction was that the Doctor lied and said that the TARDIS was going to be destroyed in 10 minutes, but it was actually going to be five because he didn't want the women to die like afraid and looking towards the end. But he told Ian because he too was also afraid of that and he didn't want to be alone about it.
I
So he
see.
asked Ian to like be by his side when it happens. So I
Yeah.
thought that was just a nice emotional vulnerability from the Doctor that he doesn't usually show. It's like, oh, we're gonna die. Please, Ian, like be there for me and don't let the women be afraid.
Yeah, it's a great story. It reminds me of the Twilight Zone. It's uh it's great. It's a great story. Marco Polo. I really like Marco
Good
Polo.
storytelling. Good
It
storytelling.
usually when it's 7 episodes long, there's some problem. Like there's a pacing issue, there's an episode that doesn't need to be there, there's crap randomly inserted in. But this one it felt like really good. It just felt like everything needed to be in the where it was. Um
There's
it
also like a good balance of like a of the crew trying to deal with their own basic imprisonments and also trying to figure out the mystery of who's sabotaging them and what's going on and trying to find the evidence for it. And I think the way the doctor interacted with the emperor near the end was really funny because they bonded over being old men and random pain.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much here that could have gone wrong, but they did it well. And it's astounding to me how good Marco Polo turned out, considering how many opportunities there were for things to turn out less than good, and it
You know,
manages to work. I think there are a few.
it's a shame this one's missing. It really is.
It is like of all the things to junk, you junked one of the best Doctor Who stories ever. Like, why? At least we have the audio.
Like, do you know why every time we watch Reconstructed, the audio is always worse than the other episodes?
It's usually because it's often based on recordings people made at home.
To, oh, so that's how they got the audios back?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's in every case, but a lot of times it's because people were recording the audio at home, and so it Keys of Marinus,
See,
F tier, boo, I hate you, absolute failure of a television
hold on.
experiment.
Don't, it wasn't as bad as that. I agree it's not very good, but it's not as bad as that.
There was
First of all, remember Ian's courtroom scenes. They did a nice
okay,
little
yeah, the
detective mystery
mystery
there.
episode, that one is fine.
I thought, look, it may have been not very.
Okay,
It
obviously
wasn't
my
that good,
initial
but I doubt it
reaction.
was like.
Okay, obviously it's not a complete
Look,
failure in every way. But I don't think F tier means there's no merit. I think F means it failed, and it absolutely failed. Like they were trying to recreate. We want Dalek. We want another character like the Daleks. And do you even remember the villains? No, you don't, because they sucked. It's
I remember Barbara. I remember Barbara killing four brains in jars near the end of one of the episodes.
um
The episode was like they were kind of being brainwashed into a society. That was just
yeah, there was so much
kind of
where
boring.
this episode could have been done well. A lot of
Yeah,
scenes felt
there's the
like
episode where they went to the forest with the wild plants, and it was an interesting concept, but it was like a dull
I
execution.
thought the one where the computers were enslaving people was interesting, and it wasn't awful. Felt like something you could see on Star Trek or Lost in Space, but
Which
it
one was
was
that?
just what?
Which one was the
That's
one
the one where
computers
Barbara
enslaving
smashes the
people?
brains in jars. It's the computers are enslaving people. Um.
It's not the computers; it's the people in charge of the
Oh yeah,
computers.
never mind. It's the sorry, I forget. It's
That's why there are
the
brains in
people have
jars.
put their brains in jars, right?
The
But
only
anyways,
computer and the only computer enslaving other people was the whole plot of the episode
right, yeah,
of
I
the
forgot. It
main
was sorry,
supercomputer.
it was rich. It was like people who put their brains in jars. I forgot, but still, anyway, that one could have
I
been
don't. I
good.
also don't like the overall plot of the Doctor almost approving of planetary brainwashing because they have the computer to take because the main plot was that they had a computer that could take control of your mind and what the computer's programmed with right and wrong. That's how people act. So they eliminated all crime by eliminating free will, and it was portrayed as almost a good thing.
Yeah, again, I did like the one where Ian is accused of a crime. That one was good, but for the most part, this serial again. Maybe if we find really bad ones that are worse, we can bump it up. But it's a failure. It failed.
I didn't consider the episodes really bad, just really not good.
It definitely failed at what it was trying to do, which was to recreate Dalek Mania. Um,
Is that what they were trying to do?
yeah, the weird people in like wetsuits in that show, in that serial,
Yeah.
those were supposed to be
Yes.
like the replacement for the Daleks. That yeah,
Hmm.
it failed utterly at what it was trying to do. Okay, Aztecs,
I
easy A
like the
tier,
concepts they had.
easy A tier.
Which one is that?
The Aztecs,
Oh yes. Here's the
easy.
thing. Here's the thing. I think, in my opinion, Ian and Barbara have exaggerated personalities. They
Uh,
exaggerate. The personalities are accurate. They just bump them up a little too high for me.
yeah, maybe so, but again, I can't remember
I
any
don't
pacing.
think. But here's the thing. Ian, way too eager to start fighting Aztec warriors. It's like a. It's like I think one of the. I forgot who it was, but they said that they wanted Ian to lead the Aztec army because he was one of the servants of whatever goddess or god that Barbara was pretending as, and the Doctor was about to talk Ian out of that situation, saying, "Oh well, he can't do this. He needs to be there to service whoever and all that." And Ian directly interrupts him and goes, "No, I want to do this. I want to lead the Aztecs."
Yeah, okay. There are a few writing issues, but it was probably just because it served the story, and the story is good.
Yeah, but there's also like the whole thing of he's somehow an equal warrior to the head Aztec warrior,
Yeah, but
which I
again,
don't
I
get.
think although there are definitely problems with the story, I mean with the writing, I think that all of the decisions were made to make the story work better, and the
Mhm.
story is really good.
Yes, I
And I
something I
don't
did.
I
I
don't
was I was a kind of a I was a fan of the Doctor and the Aztec woman, like the way he just immediately was drawn to her for whatever reason.
well yeah, well, and it was
I think it's
like he engaged her by accident, and then he was like, well, okay, I guess we're engaged now, and then he left. And
I think
uh
it's one of the few times the Doctor actually really was initially attracted to someone by looks, because that's what drew him to her in the first place. His escort was like introducing him to all the people, and he looked over to the Aztec woman. Went, "Who is that?" He's like,
I
I think it's
guess
the only time he cared about looks in the
I
show.
guess we know that what the doctor's into then. Anyway,
Middle-aged women.
yeah, anyway,
But just remember, he was like 200 and something by then, so the age difference between him and the 60-year-old woman is far less than the 900-year-old and the 19-year-old.
um
I wish they brought the Aztec woman with them.
okay, yeah,
You know,
I cannot remember there being any pacing issues. I don't remember an episode being weak. I don't remember.
no, they were all equally strong.
It was just good, and it establishes so much time travel stuff as well, whereas Edge of Destruction is more about the characters. An Unearthly Child is all about characters because like what an Unearthly Child and Edge of Destruction establish is so basic, but what the Aztecs establishes is the basic way that they're going to interact with time travel to the past for the rest of the First Doctor's era. um,
It was also it was also repeatedly brought up again when Barbara needed to remind them, yes, I learned my lesson. So it was also brought back with relevancy. Should this be S tier because it really sets the
It
stage
might
for like
be, but I think
Barbara's
again, I
interaction?
want to finish the tier list, and then we'll think, okay, which of these are definitive. Um,
Because like when I
it the because it establishes, and obviously this is translating it into something that came later, but it sets the precedent for what will become fixed points in time, which is the idea that you cannot change the past based on information that you have because you know about the past. Like if you know about the past, you can't use that knowledge to try to change the past because that would cause a paradox. And there are certain moments in time that cannot be changed. As he says, you cannot rewrite history not one line because there are things
and,
in history that simply cannot be changed because they're too significant in the web of time.
and then when the doctor got older, he learns he can change small lines as
No,
long as
he
it doesn't
already knows
affect
that
the
because
big
he's a
thing.
Time Lord. Remember, he's trying to explain it to humans. Plus, it's the 60s, so obviously they're not thinking in modern terms. But the in-universe explanation would just be he's explaining it to people who don't understand the web of time. All right,
Yeah, it's
Sensorites.
like
I
um
like the
let me think.
Sensorites.
What?
I like the Sensorites. I really like the Sensorites, but does it
I
have
like the
anything?
concepts of them. I I don't think they did like the political mystery drama thing very well. I think it was very average.
Yeah, that's
I think it was. So let's start off at average for now, and
yeah. I
when
because
we
what
discuss, we
kind of
can
thing is
decide
I
later.
really
So
like the Sensorites. I'd like to see it again, but I can't think of anything that makes it more than
there wasn't
just.
anything. There wasn't anything like really good or really bad about it. I think it really is just one of the most perfect definitions of average in
Yeah,
an
it's like
episode.
I can't think of anything that bumps it above being. Yeah, I liked it.
It had an it had an interesting character thing of Susan like being more honed in with her telepathy than anyone else, which also which also began the whole thing of humans do have psychic abilities that we just aren't able to access very well,
Although
which has
then
been a thing
if
throughout
more
all of
we
Doctor Who. Humans have psychic fields.
it also sets up Time Lords being telepaths later. Um,
Yeah, but it's like, but we also, if you look in context of when they wrote the episode, it's they're all humans at still at that moment, and humans having
I'm
psychic fields
I'm not
is
convinced.
also been stuck around since then.
I'm not convinced the Doctor and Susan were conceived of as human, but we don't want to get sidetracked. That's a separate thing.
Well, because
Okay, so
at
Reign
least
of
like
Terror.
because we know the Doctor at least had one heart because whenever somebody took his pulse, they were always said it was normal by human standards. So
Right.
he had a singular heart.
Reign of Terror. Okay, I don't
Reign of
remember.
Terror.
I don't remember. That's the. I remember
And
liking
see,
it, but
this is why I rewatched all the Doctor Who stuff to
oh,
remind myself. Reign of Terror. Uh,
oh, it's the one with Napoleon.
I liked it.
I liked it, but does it have anything that makes it more than just that was good, or was it just average? Because it's a
I
historical
would
drama.
say it's above average. Here's the thing. I think the characters acted very well in it, so I would say it's above average. I say just the way the characters acted, and it gave the Doctor some solo time, so we got to see how he acted without companions. That
Yeah,
was
I'm
good.
thinking that the
Uh,
Doctor plays dress up, doesn't he? He this is one of the first times
he,
he goes in
he
disguise.
goes to a, he goes to a he goes to a clothing store and buys like nobleman costume that the person was selling for some reason. That's like us selling a general's uniform. That doesn't make any
No,
sense.
he's a tailor, so he's serving people, so he's going to have
Oh, that's right.
clothing for when people need to come in. It's not a
Right.
he's a tailor, so he just has stuff. It is a bit weird that he already has it made. It's already in the Doctor's size, and like, but whatever. He needs it for the plot.
Yeah, so anyway, he trades his clothing and his ring because they're unique in that land, and then the tailor like turns the ring in and tells like the prison guards or the prison warden, or he tells another nobleman that hey, there's a spy among you. There's someone claiming to be a nobleman, but he's very obviously not.
yeah.
The doctor gets like manipulated and imprisoned. Like he gets imprisoned, and so basically he's trapped with because someone's blackmailing him, and he has to find a way out of that. And
I do remember liking it. I don't remember it well enough
I
to
think
say, this was
I
excellent
don't
storytelling, but I do
I
remember
don't
liking
think
it.
it's one of the I don't think it's one of the really good stories, but I think the way the characters act put it above average.
All
So
right,
I think
Planet of
B is a good
Giants,
category for it.
not very